Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MDM Show. My name is Donna Whittington, and I'm here to welcome you. Our mission here is to help you turn whatever you desire into real-life manifestations by sharing our revolutionary technology to make that happen for you. We bring you such cutting-edge information through our resident wizard, Peter Schenk, and also through magical guests each week that are really making a difference to improve your lives on a weekly level. I'm the co-host Donna, along with the founder of this program, the modern day mystic himself, Peter Schenk. Peter, how are you?
Hey, Don, I'm doing great. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Tonight we got an amazing guest. Donna?
Yes, we do. Tonight we've got Ken Rohla with us, and of course Ken is back. He's been on our show a couple times, but Ken, he is a natural health educator, researcher, and inventor from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. He offers cutting-edge products and services for regaining and optimizing health naturally using ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. He may be contacted at his website, www.freshandalive.com. Ken, welcome back.
Mr. Fresh and Alive, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on again.
So it's been a while. It's been 6 or 8 months since we last had you on. You were working with some really cool stuff. Last show, we kind of talked about your rest shield, which I've had for, I think, going on 2 years now. And, you know, I've had some pretty amazing success with it, sleeping better at night, feeling calmer in the bedroom. So what have you been up to? What's new for 2017?
Well, I've been traveling. I just got back from some speaking gigs up in the Northeast. I was up your way, not in Connecticut, but New York, Philly, and New Jersey. And I'm going to California next week. And in June, I'm going to go to Bosnia and see the largest pyramids in the world with the man who discovered them, Dr. Smyrna Beach.
Bosnia, you know, that's interesting. I got a client by the name of Jay, and he just bought the supposed love pyramid that's over there. I guess it's one of the smaller ones off to the side. He bought the property and everything that goes with it, and he's been spending a lot of time there. And you know, the locals just know so much about what's going on in that area that you just don't know about. And they're talking about secret tunnels, miles of these things on and around. Personally, there's definitely a very strange energy there that likes to mask itself. But are they actual pyramids? I don't know. I can't answer that one.
Yeah, I know. Samir's PR guy, Jock Doubleday, maybe a year ago. I guess he's been following me for a while, and he started emailing me, showing me some of their discoveries and connecting me with Smyrna. So they've been sending me some of the updates, some of the things they've been discovering. Because Smyrna is an archaeologist, not a physicist, he confers with a lot of different people that kind of get their interpretation of what he's finding. And so I just kind of gave him some of my input of some of the things I was seeing.
Ken, we're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. Is there a way you can pull the mic closer to yourself?
Let me see if I can get a little closer to it.
Better, right there.
Okay, how about that?
Perfect.
All right, maybe I can turn up that too.
So what kind of new products you've been working on for 2017?
Well, man, it's interesting. I've been working on a lot of different things in between travel. So I've been, the last 2-3 months, I've been distracted a lot with travel. But I've been working on a portable scalar wave generator I call the Stress Shield, which I've had out on the market in the past, but I was redesigning it to make it stronger. I've got ideas for making it better and stronger. And so that is getting close to completion. It's taking a lot of experimentation. So that should be coming soon. A lot of people have been asking about that. People are familiar with it from some of my old videos. But it's basically a little pocket handheld device you can carry with you, and it protects against EMF, and it helps with jet lag if you're traveling. It, of course, helps with sleep. Also, plant growth and micro growth. So if you happen to have it near something fermenting or plants growing in it, accelerate their growth. So that's one thing I'm working on. I also have connected up with a manufacturer of some very interesting supplements that have been scalar energized. And this is kind of the new frontier of supplements, is creating what I call ormus homeopathics, which are basically waters or liquids with monoatomic minerals in them. And then they're programmed with scalar energy frequencies that will impart frequency into them permanently that they then radiate outward. And so you can do things, for example, like impart frequency of oxygen into water and make it act like water that can contain oxygen more than is chemically possible for water to contain. It's energetic. And so we've already got an iodine, a monoatomic iodine on our website that radiates the scalar frequencies, the anti-frequencies of all known radioactive elements, and helps neutralize the body. And so, so we're coming out with a scalar energized salt. It's actually a mixture of 5 different mineral salts from around the world, all hand mined, so they don't have explosives in them, that kind of stuff. And some very interesting waters that do various things that we can't really admit to in public. And other things that I haven't even gotten around to looking at. I got this pile of papers I've got to go through on all these products, but there'll be some really interesting new stuff coming in.
So you talk about EMF protection in some of these products. So my understanding of EMF is it's electromagnetic field, whatever, field interference, something like that. And that's given off by cell phones and Wi-Fi and all that. So how do these products protect you against that? And what do they actually do to you?
Okay. What they do, one big misconception that people have is that EMF protection devices block the waves coming from these devices. And there certainly are conventional ones that do that. Like, for example, there are screen cages that you can put over your bed and things like that. They're basically what's called a Faraday cage, which is just a metal box that blocks these energies from getting to you. But if you're blocking your cell phone or Wi-Fi or whatever, you can't use it, obviously. So we've developed scalar energy devices, and other people have, that put out scalar fields or scalar waves. And these waves and fields, when conventional electromagnetic radiation hits these fields, all these waves, which are normally kind of bouncing around all over the place and coming at you from all different directions, normally when they're coming at you that way, they pass through the body, they make a lot of noise, and they interfere with cellular communication. And so these scalar devices, whether they're little passive EMF pendants or power devices like my Red Shield, they emit some kind of a scalar field. And when those chaotic random waves hit the field, they all become parallel to each other. That's known as quantum coherence. And so basically this new scalar technology is becoming more common, particularly the passive stuff. I don't know, there may be 1 or 2 other companies in the world that I know of that create powered scalar wave generators like I do, but these passive devices like EMF pendants and pyramids and stones and things, those are getting very common. But they all work similarly, just the powered ones are much, much more powerful.
So you also mentioned about making your own medicine inexpensively using microorganisms. Now that's something we've never discussed privately or on a show. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I've been teaching this for many years because I live in the second poorest county in Florida, and a lot of people just come to my workshops just couldn't afford all these supplements. Supplements are expensive, and so so I learned how to use fermentation to make nutrient-dense, probiotic, antioxidant supplements, and you can even custom make them, tailor make them for specific uses. And people can make gallons of these things simply by taking water. Like I have a recipe where you take 5 gallons of water and a quart of molasses and a quart of these microbes called affected microorganisms. We've got them on our website, and they're pretty cheap, $24, I think, for a quart bottle. You mix that all up together, and you put it on a heat pad, and you keep it at 95 degrees for 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, you've got 5 gallons of that bacteria culture, which is a probiotic, which is beneficial bacteria, which you can then use for a ton of different purposes. You can ingest it and use it as a probiotic for yourself or for animals. These microbes like to eat toxins and break them down, so you can spray them on land, you can spray them in polluted water, and it will break the toxins down and make them non-toxic. It's being used in Fukushima actually for neutralizing radioactivity on farms. I've got a video on my website on the resources page at freshandlive.com, exactly that, of a Japanese farmer using this, what they call EM1, or effective microorganisms, to do this. It's ridiculously cheap, and it's very effective. And these farmers that are using it, they have in Fukushima City, have no measurable radiation on their crops and on their soil, as opposed to the farmers around that aren't using it can't sell it because they're so radioactive. So these microbes break down toxins into non-toxic elements. So it's very useful for that. And then for making your own medicines, there's a ton of other uses too. It eats mold and mildew for breakfast. So you can spray them on the inside of air conditioners. It'll get rid of mold and mildew. You can degrease engines with it. You use it as a non-toxic household cleaner. It's crazy. But one of the things that I show people how to do in my workshops and also on my blog and webinars is to take that probiotic mixture that I just mentioned, and you can throw in herbs, you can throw in rock powders, you can throw in superfoods, you can even throw in crappy supplements that aren't very bioavailable, and it'll eat them and break them down and make them bioavailable. And so what I tell people to do is to go out and look at herb companies and supplement companies' ingredients. They just take those ingredients and throw them into these ferments and ferment it for about 3 or 4 months. And then you'll have gallons of a supplement that is dense in nutrients, high in antioxidants, high in probiotics, that you can custom tailor to your own needs. It's better than anything that you can buy.
So I used to work with a guy. This is going on probably about 10 years ago now, and he was from Oregon, and I honestly can't remember. I only worked with him for about 6 months, and he was working on an Ormus fertilizer. And what he would do is he would take his boat out, 100 miles off the coast, and drop a hose down 1,000 feet and fill up these twin or 10,000 gallons full of salt water, and he'd bring it back, and he'd go through this process to extract the natural monoatomics in the water. And he was very scientific, and there's an organism around the base of all living plants, a I can't even say it, but anyways, so I wrote him a piece of software to excite the water, and lo and behold, it was a custom piece, but he had an exponential increase in these microorganisms that breathe life, I guess, into or help support the life of plants. It was very interesting. So I kind of get that all natural way. So you've
interesting. I wonder if those guys are the same ones that I've worked with. There's some guys that are now in San Diego. They started farther up north that have a company called Micro Minerals, and they're doing exactly that. They're harvesting ocean water off the coast of Canada, I believe, and of course testing it to make sure it's not polluted. But they're doing that. They're making an enormous product for plants. It's phenomenal.
I've always kind of been interested, and it's been a little bit of a pet project with me to work with some of my customers to grow, crazy sized lemons and oranges and other things out there just by using the Aquaware product. And, I have had an idea in the back of my head where if you could, so the way I understand it, insects see in the color spectrum. So they know when plants are diseased and they go straight for them. Now, working with frequencies as I do in water, one of the pet projects I wanted to try was to change the frequencies of the plants so the insects wouldn't see them. There's no need for pesticides, and all you're putting down is structured water, or programmed water, and the rest is history. So yeah, we're very much along the same lines.
That's interesting. Have you done that? Have you programmed water?
I have never programmed water with that particular intention, but I have worked with a number of different people that have yielded really spectacular results with plants and fruits in their gardens just by using aquaware water.
That's interesting. I hadn't even thought about doing that. I got to try that.
We were treasure hunting is a hobby of mine, and with Jason Davis, I did it for a number of years with him. We've gone out on some different areas, and out in the American Southwest, they have these bugs. They're kind of like horse flies on steroids, and they call them bombers because they go into stealth mode when they come up near you. So you hear the bzzz, but when they're in stealth mode, they're already on you, biting through your clothes. And, we used aquaware to fill up spray bottles with pest control, and you just spray it around. And, they never bothered us. But that's the type of like thinking outside the box that, it's really hard to instill in a conditioned population that, knows to go down to Walmart and grab some nasty chemical and spray that around.
Yeah.
So it's coming around slowly.
Yeah, it definitely works. I use Ormus on all the stuff I grow. I've got crazy 10-foot tall tomato plants loaded up right now, and just everything. And I turned Dr. Joe Mercola onto it. He's a neighbor of mine. He lives about a half hour away from me, and he's got this big mansion on the river. And it was when he bought it. It had all these decorative plants, and I got him all jazzed about this stuff. So he ripped out all the plants and replaced it with food. And then I gave him some advice on some things to do, and he did it to the T. And now he's got crazy plants and like 6-foot tall kale plants with 3-inch, 4-inch trunks and stuff. And but that's what you can do. And they're not some kind of chemical abominations. These are really nutrient dense, extremely healthy plants. It's just that they're getting the energy in there.
That's awesome. So, Ken, you've been in possession of a couple of the harmonic field amplifier products, the New Way to Travel and the Mini. Can you spend a few minutes and kind of tell us about your experience with them?
I got my little harmonic field accelerator right here. I keep it at my desk, actually, because I always drink water or something at my desk. So I set my drink on it because I know it structures it. And I know that because I tested it. I took a little Tupperware container of water and put the harmonic field amplifier underneath the water and put it in the freezer. And sure enough, like some of my devices, this is well water I've got, and so it's got Ormus in it. And when I put a scalar field underneath it, what I'll see is the water will create stalactites or try and crawl up the side of the vessel it's in. And sure enough, that's what it did. It got all these weird lips and bubbles in it, crawled up the side of the bowl. So that told me it's putting off the scalar field. And then, of course, when I saw it, I didn't realize when I saw it online that it has these little like cones in the middle, which is exactly how you create a singularity or a vortex on each side. So it's brilliant technology once again. But I haven't had time. I've been traveling so much. I haven't had time to sit down and really like test it on different devices and see.
You should be taking it with you when you travel. That's why
I got my power devices. And so I should. So I will.
And you stole the Mini back from your wife, from what I understand.
Yeah, it just came in the mail, and I took the harmonic field amplifier and put it on my desk, and then I just showed it to my wife, and I put it down. I put both of them down on my desk, and I forgot about the pendant. And my wife apparently stole it because I was working on her computer the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, this is mine. So I got it back now.
Yeah, women. women have a tendency to take them. That's not a bad thing.
I want to take it to some of my body worker friends and see what kind of results they get, because I know when I've given things like this to them, they'll be like, oh wow, it immediately balances the chakras or whatever. And so I want to see what we can do with that.
Very cool. So
but just having it sitting at my desk, I mean, I'm surrounded by all these skater fields because I got all my power devices all around me. So I'm not a real good guinea pig, but I do notice that sitting in front of the computer all day, I don't get tired.
Don't phase out with all that Scalar technology. We want you around.
It's funny though, when people come to my house, they'll be sitting there and the living room start nodding off. So it relaxes you.
So let's dive into 2017. What do you got on the back burner that's definitely going to come into fruition?
Well, the main thing right now, like I said, is my stress shield and these scalarized supplements. There's really interesting monoatomic iodine, which we're already selling, but I've learned more about how to use it in combination with salt. So we're gonna use a scalarized salt in combination with scalarized monoatomic iodine and water, and that combination really helps the body absorb the iodine. I've been told, we've got to test and find out if this is true, but I've been told that this iodine, can actually, unlike other forms of iodine, it can go into the thyroid and it can push out other toxins, including radioactive iodine or cesium. So we're going to get some testing to see if that's true, but it's very, very interesting. These monoatomics in general are very healing. This is one thing that I've seen doing it naturally or getting supplements, that they're very regenerative to the body. And you can put them into waters and program them with frequency, like I said, and they'll radiate energy outward for various purposes. And so, so there's a bunch of.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know a little secret. If you put monoatomics into water, you don't need to know the frequency of anything. You can just put your attention on that water and tell it exactly what you want. And the monoatomics are so incredibly consciousness that it just twists that water into whatever you need. But we're not going to tell people about that. That's a trade secret.
Exactly, and your software too. I mean, I haven't experimented with monoatomics in your software. That's exactly it. You're going to get way better results. And people are using various methods for programming these waters, but once you do, it's pretty well permanent until you let you program with something else. So
monoatomics are great. They're I mean, that's a whole nother subject. So,
but we need them too, because we've got these insane threats to our health now, like nuclear fallout and geoengineering pollutants and genetically modified organisms and all kinds of stuff. So we need these new tools to combat these new threats to our health.
See, you dabble in other things too, like getting rid of depression and bringing happy emotional healing. How do you accomplish that?
Well, yeah, I just did a talk about this in Philly, and it'll probably be on YouTube in a few weeks or months. But I encounter a lot of unhappy, depressed people, and just in my travels. And to me, I've done a lot of emotional healing work and a lot of reprogramming the conscious and unconscious minds. And so I've learned a lot of techniques for doing that. And so over the years in my workshops, I've always taught emotional healing and reprogramming self-destructive or limiting unconscious beliefs is the most important thing to do if you're interested in healing or regaining health or just being happy. Because we're all programmed, we're heavily mind controlled. This planet is heavily mind controlled. And a lot of people don't want to believe that. But in various ways, it's been used for thousands of years in various ways, but it's become very sophisticated, particularly since World War II. After the war was over, the United States, Great Britain, and Russia went into Nazi Germany and grabbed all the spoils of war. We got a lot of their mind scientists that were doing a lot of really horrific trauma-based mind control experiments. And so rather than stopping that, the United States government sequestered these Nazi scientists into our military-industrial complex and expanded on those programs. And I guess with the philosophy that if we don't do it, somebody else will do it to us. And so that knowledge is being used now against populations around the world to program people into belief systems that benefit the powers that be, to make people complacent and compliant, to make people dependent on the status quo systems, and to believe in the reality that has been presented to them by those in power. And so I learned about trauma-based mind control probably 30 years ago, and it was a real shock at first to learn some of the graphic details of it. It's going to be very negative and very violent. And so, along the way, I started bumping into people that knew how to break that programming and do emotional healing work. And so, over the years, I've accumulated kind of a cadre of therapies and therapists who are really good at doing emotional healing work and reprogramming the unconscious mind. And so, some of those techniques are good old-fashioned, tried and true methods like meditation. In particular, Vipassana meditation is one of my favorites, which is reportedly the technique that Buddha used to attain enlightenment. And it's really, really simple. It doesn't matter what your belief system is. You just sit down and you get quiet and you observe your breath coming out of your nostrils and observe sensation on your body, and that's it. But you can go to retreat centers that do this, where they have 10-day meditation sets, sometimes longer. And you take a vow of silence, you don't talk, you don't communicate in any way, shape, or form with anybody around you. You totally go within and do this technique for 12 hours a day, anywhere from 1 to 4 hours at a time. And what happens is you go through this amazing transformation. And about half of the people experience what I experienced the first time, which is my consciousness disconnected from my physical body and kind of like popped out of my body and went inside my body. So to me, it felt like my body became this giant shell shaped like me, and I'm floating around inside of it, and I'm seeing these purple and white red particles everywhere, really brilliantly lit, flashing on and off. And, it's very much a psychedelic kind of thing, and I was like tripping on it, going, wow, this is amazing. And
we wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm saying back in the 70s, I did inhale and I did do LSD and stuff. So I had something to compare with. But I saw this little pinch in the pattern of these particles. It looked kind of like a television, old TV set when there's nothing on, it's just static. But it's very brilliantly colored purple, white, red. And I just thought to myself, I don't like the way that pattern looks. And the moment I thought that, it disappeared. And when it disappeared, all this pain that I had in my legs and my back and my butt from sitting there for 4 days, 12 hours a day, immediately went away. And you could have hammered a nail through my hand or cut me, and it wouldn't have bothered me one bit. And that's when I realized that these swamis and gurus and meditators, like in this class, there were meditators sitting in front of the class, and they could sit stone cold motionless for 4 hours. And so I realized that these guys, all these people that are doing these kind of things, are going into this meditative state where they're not feeling any pain, and they can, sit on a block of ice or a bed of nails, or sit stone cold for 4 hours, stone cold still, by going into this state. And so when I came out of that, well, actually, what happened is I got attached to it, and they teach in this technique to not get attached. And so immediately when pain went out, I got excited, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm just going to, every time I go meditate from the rest of this retreat, I'm just going to do this. And as soon as I got attached, I popped out of it, and I couldn't get back into it, try as I might. And so I had a lot of lessons in that. But one of the lessons was that technique is very, very powerful for doing emotional healing. And then I was doing this with like 150 other people in this course. And when we got done, when you go in before you start the vow of silence, you could see the crust of the world on all these people's faces and their demeanors and their physiology. And when they got done with that course, everybody was just grateful to be alive because it's such an amazing process. So that's one technique that I use, particularly for people who don't have a lot of money. Because the cool thing about that process is you can go and do it at these retreat centers around the world for free. They don't charge you. They don't espouse any dogmas or anything. They just give you a place to stay. They feed you, and your position there is paid by people who have come before you, who are grateful for the experience and paid your way. And so that's actually what my wife and I did when we got done with the class. We paid for 6 other people to come in for us because we were so grateful, and it was so cheap. I mean, it was like $15 a day, $18 a day.
That's awesome. So,
yeah, so that's one. There's a slew of techniques for reprogramming the mind and emotional healing that I use.
So Ken, we're at the end of our time together. Can you let the listening audience know how they can get in touch with you, please?
Yeah, my main website is freshandalive.com, and my blog, where most of my educational information is at freshandaliveblog.com. And I'm also on Facebook and YouTube. You can go to Fresh and Alive and see the links to those. Wow, this time has flown by.
Time always flies. Time doesn't exist.
I know.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
All right, well, thank you, Peter.
Very welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Everyone.
See ya.